Hey, everybody, welcome to this week's episode of The Lumber Word, episode 143. Doing it an hour early, 11 o'clock on the 15th
Just to
of
mess people
October.
up, right? I mean, we
Yeah.
keep changing things up because we told them we were going behind the paywall, and we haven't done that yet, right?
Yeah, you know what? I know I have to use it because I paid a lot of money to set the paywall up. I just haven't figured. I've paid a lot for the paywall already.
You've paid the paywall.
The paywall is making all the money right now, and yeah, I got to change it. And Charles and I already had a podcast on my car on the way over here this morning. We chatted the whole way over. Then you pulled into Starbucks. I was drinking my new cold foam protein latte.
You looked really gay too.
Well, I mean, it was. I'm comfortable with that.
All the foam was on your face.
I'm comfortable with that.
I mean, it's 2025. There you go.
There you go. It was good, but no, Charles and I were kicking around some ideas, and the first thing before we get into the market, Greg came in the office last night and he read me a whole bunch of numbers off of random, and then I walked back into his office 10 minutes later and I read them back, and he's like, "Did you not hear a word I said?" I'm like, "No, I didn't." But all I heard was, hey, when Charles is on, we need to ask him about what's going on with this Southern pine curtailments they're talking about. And Charles, you kind of updated me a little bit on it. You got really deep in the weeds and broke the abacus out in fingers and was telling the return. And so what's going on down the south?
I think there's some guys that are cutting some shifts quietly. I mean, Canada's already has been doing it, and Pine's finally partaken in it. But I've also heard whispers of other mills adding shifts because we don't have enough lumber, right? I'm not real sure of kind of what that looks like. I've also heard whispers of majors building mega mills that already cut production out. I mean, the rumor mill is pretty stout in the South right now. So you don't really know which way is up.
So what do you mean there's not enough lumber? Like what you said made that comment. That's
it was
what
a
do you
joke.
Mean? Oh, gotcha. Okay. Well, listen, I think the difference is everybody's waiting for mills to make announcements. I think they're so big. Most of them are public now. I think a lot of them just do it, right? And then make the announcement in their next earnings or something. I mean, that's the smart play. Don't even tell anybody, right?
Yep.
In my opinion.
And it's like if you're not a public company, and even maybe if you are a public company and you're just like, doing it, at this point, it's a sign of weakness that you're doing that. And so you don't want to tell the market that, right? I mean, I'll say I had a call this morning right now I'm repping my boys at Barrett, and I owe them a call. I haven't bought any lumber from them in a long time because they've been $70 over everybody else. But I'll have that conversation on the side.
So you called me gay and you got a Brett on.
Yeah. But I called a mill that I've done a lot of business with, and they're like good friends, and I hadn't bought any lumber from him in the longest time, and I'm saying, hey man, I'm like really sorry, I'm on a kind of cycle with you, and he's like, well, we shut this mill down. This mill we're only running one shift, and this mill we're running for our engineered wood. And so he goes, and we really haven't sold anything into the U.S. market of substance for 6-8 weeks. And I went, oh, okay. So I haven't missed anything. But they think there's a lot more of that out there than we give credit to. We keep saying, oh, we really need to wait for this big curtailment. And, and it's happening. Like the market right now is the frog that was put in cold water with the heat on, and it's just heating up. And do you like that analogy, Charles?
Yeah. Sometimes I can follow him and sometimes I can't. I don't know what the hell.
Well, because if the water's already hot and you throw him, he jumps right out. But this way, we're gonna fry his ass.
So let's think about that for a second.
let's just let that.
What happens? What
Let
happens?
that
And I
one
think
marinate a little bit.
I think buyers right now. I can just tell you on the spruce side, the way the orders are coming across, the way the inquiry is coming across, the way the questions are being asked. There's a lot of uncertainty, but people are leaning to the side of I think they could be a little bit better, but they're not buying accordingly. And so, what happens when everybody waits for something to happen that may already be happening? You're late, and so the smart buyers that I see in are picking some stuff up, buying some stuff. Look at CME. Where's CME this morning? Board up.
November is currently $629.
And that's up how much today?
$10.
10.50.
10.50. Okay.
10.50.
So nice little run. We got funds have been short. So smart money has been long, according to the industry, and funds have been short. And it's always that battle between the longs and the shorts. And the shorts are the funds. And Greg, you were saying the other day, if they decided to pull the plug on some of those, we could run it to $700.
But will cash follow? That's my question.
Eventually, yeah. I mean, you see what's been happening. It continues to get pulled up. I mean, what are we up? We're probably up 3 weeks now in the cash markets off of the low. 3 weeks, you think? Is that probably right? So, the prices are unsustainable. The prices are unsustainable in the U.S. South and in Canada at the current levels.
Yep.
I don't know. A wild card, in my opinion, is going to be how much, U.S. West can increase production because they're probably profitable at these numbers.
Yeah.
If Matt was on, he'd be able to share that with us. But maybe we'll still get that out of him. But I mean, my wild card too is if I look at the futures market, 630, and that's like $70-$80 over hem fir.
Yeah, then you look at 2x6 hem fir, and boy, woo! I mean, what a freaking trade that would be.
And especially when you see how strong 2x6 spruce has gotten.
Yeah.
I mean, 2x6 spruce has quietly moved up $50-$60 over this 3-week span.
But to Charles, that's the real thing to watch.
16s. We were selling 16s. We're traded sub 500 delivered southeast. We blew our brains out in the low 500s and the market's in the low 600s now.
Yeah.
So that's maybe $100.
Hey, Dan Zingler's on. He's on our YouTube channel. Welcome, Dan. Yeah, Charles, back to your thing. It'll be interesting. Last cycle we had hem fir win a discount. When you run the charts,
I mean, y'all been talking about that trade for 3 weeks. Have any manufacturers taken y'all up on? I mean, I don't know enough about it to do it, right? I mean, have you had any producers that are entertaining?
We can't disclose that information.
We can't disclose whether we got our toes. Whether we got our toes maybe in the water may not be on that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, all right. I see how this is going to go.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah. But we'll. I mean, hey, look at the CME.
Stay tuned, though. You know what? Well, there's more to come.
CME is a hem fir contract now, right? I mean, so to speak, or it's the lowest common denominator between hem fir, fir and larch, spruce, and people should take full advantage of that. No, that's all we're gonna say. But let's just run real quickly through stuff. So we had the extra 10% put on the 14th, whatever, on all this stuff, which actually even is less sustainable. Bunch of our mills, Eastern, Western, all wanted to get stuff across the border really quick, and worked on it. Steve, welcome, man. Steve Belport on the LinkedIn channel. And they wanted to get stuff across the border. And then, Greg, lists you're seeing out of the East, they bumped some numbers on that since last week. What's your thought there?
Yeah, I mean, I think the market's been grinding higher. I think there's varying degrees of participation. There's some people now that they sold right up until whatever they could get across prior to yesterday. And now they just added, 10% of their price, and then that's not selling. There's some people that have sold up and and are like somewhere in between where they were and where and that 10% adder. So it's a varying degree, but the market continues to tighten here in spruce market.
Yeah, no, it's like the Friday, Monday, you were talking about losing orders to certain people, and the price kind of came to us on trucks today on some certain things, and that's interesting because there's a lot less truck mills in Canada to ship across right now, and you're right, spruce is moving a little bit. Charles, pine, you were buying discounts on pine. Is that still?
I mean, they're here, there, and yonder. I mean, it's not prevalent. It just depends on certain mills have buildups, and they got to solve that problem. I think they're handling it a little bit better now after the liquidity event we went through 3-4 weeks ago, which is very similar to July of last year, right, where we reached sub $300 numbers on 6-inch. But I don't know. To your point, I mean, inquiry level has increased. There's some cash wood that's being bought, but it's all quick ship, which plays into how y'all set your business up. It plays into us being in a truck market. But the problem is planning forward, right? Where does that put us from a market consumption perspective in either species? And how is that going to impact some of the big boys stepping in December as they historically do to plan for Q1?
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, the wild card on that is, as we have been for the last 2 years, we're in a supply push market, not a demand pull market.
We got to find a better way to say that, because that doesn't make any sense.
Well, I mean,
educate me once again. I'm sorry, but I mean, supply influence.
Yeah, no, I mean, prices push up because of reductions in supply, and the biggest challenge you have in that market is that when the spigot turns off, it falls like a rock because there's no liquidity underneath, right?
Yep.
So, the backdrop, the interesting thing is we're moving now from a period of seasonal weakness to a period of seasonal strength. Now until first quarter, the market has seasonal strength. And I mean, I'm going to say, I think that you can probably add $50 to $150 to every product today for Q1 high. There, you want to make some money? Got a hunch? Buy a bunch. Got a hunch? Buy a bunch. Let's go.
Charles, back to our conversation. Like, this is a very asset heavy business, keeping inventory on the ground, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, right now we're comfortable keeping a lot of inventory on the ground coming in and rolling.
We got the email from Montreal yesterday to prove it. Hey guys, we're over our target numbers.
Yeah.
Don't buy anything this week.
Yeah. It wasn't we're over the target. We're over target numbers. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that email about a week and a half ago, except it wasn't from.
Except it was from your wife. That was from your wife.
That
was from the big boss. But yeah, that's exactly right.
The big boss.
100% correct.
Oh my God. So all right, look at it's the middle of October right now. We have NOLA coming up. Market usually makes a big move one way or another after the NOLA markets or after these big industry markets. I mean, Greg, when we're down there first week of November in Kansas City,
we're going to be eating a lot of red meat. Going to be very aggressive. Going to be aggressive.
Where are the different items going to be? Where's the 2x4? Where's 2x4? I don't know. Chicago going to be on spruce. Where's pine going to be? 4-inch yellow pine.
Spruce, I think.
Where's the Hemfer?
I think SPF 2x4s will have a 6 handle on them. They'll be over 600 Chicago. I'm optimistic that that our 6-inch trade really gained some momentum, and that we got a 6 handle on 2x6s in Chicago.
Do it.
Right.
Do it.
I think we're on the right side of that trade simply because of the time frame we're in now. It usually starts accelerating when you get into those late, month 10, 11, 12, where it's actually kind of going that direction. And I feel that's what it's doing. And I am talking my position 100% right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, like any of our
Uh,
listeners will clearly know we got the bull horns on right now. I mean, we're all bulled up, and we want to encourage other folks to come on and join the stampede.
You're
there you go.
killing me
Well,
with
so
these
another thing I'm
one-liners,
noticing, Charles,
man.
you noticing
You
down,
got a hunch by a bunch.
down. Well, look at,
Oh,
we're trying to play against your shirt that shows a brand on it. Is that a brand or is that your fraternity right there on your shirt?
I was not in a fraternity. I wasn't cool enough to be in a fraternity, Ash.
Which one? No, what is that on your shoulder there?
Twin Oaks. It's a brand
Okay.
of the cattle company.
Oh, right on, right on.
So I got one logo behind me and then one logo on my shirt.
So where's Pine going to be, Charles? When we about 3 weeks out from now, what I am noticing is wides going up, and even the spruce items that were dogs for a while, right? Are you noticing wides moving a little bit? You mentioned 12-inch last week.
Yeah. I mean, 10 inches kind of stopped at slide. 8 inches firmed up. We bought some wides yesterday, and no discounts really existed. I don't know if that was based on the tally we needed or what, but it's one of those things to where if wides continue to firm and appreciate, you're going to see less narrows naturally, right? Based on return, based on saw cost per lug, etc. So that'll be really interesting to see how that story unfolds. But the big, you asked where's 4-inch going to be come November when y'all are in Nala or Kansas City. Are we talking like real cash number or are we talking print? I don't know.
We're always talking real.
Yeah.
We always want real cash.
Well, that's proprietary information. I don't know if I want to.
There you go. I respect.
Well, one thing I could see 4-inch when we pulled up the charts when we were in here Saturday, we looked at the undervalued on Pine, and there's some items in 2x10, 2x12 that have a mean reversion, have an upside of $100 to $200 a thousand. Right.
I would say the biggest player there is probably going to be your 12-inch, 12 and longer.
2x10 18s, 2x10
and 2x10 longs,
2x10 longs. And then there's some that are overvalued, stretching it out. But again, I don't want to give too much of that information out either until we get it behind the paywall, right? And but yeah, that's that's what we should do is we should have one thing where we pull up those charts and review the 600 items with people on a weekly basis and show them the overvalued, undervalued.
I mean, it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like
there's a value there for sure.
Yeah, it's like the old traveler's checks. You don't want to leave home without it. You're too young for that one, Charles.
I remember seeing those commercials when I was like 5. But
yeah. All right, so we went through that. Housing starts. I don't think we're going to have them come out in a couple of days if the government's still shut down.
No.
So what do they do?
Instead, we can make up our own housing start numbers.
Well, do they just kick the can down?
I can't wait for that. How bullish are we, Greg? How bullish are we?
1.7 million starts and 2 million permits.
So where do you think the wood is?
So, I mean, I did see where they called back some people to do the consumer price index because apparently you need to have that so that they can set the COLA adjustments on Social Security and some other stuff. I'm saying that the people that they brought back they're going to give a low number. It's going to be all of a sudden we're going to have, whoa, what do you mean? Inflation's under 2%. Look at just like that. It happened.
You're talking Diet Cola.
Diet Cola. Yeah.
There you go.
But hey, I just want to talk about the government shutdown. It's like, I mean, interestingly, my life has not had any.
Change. Zero change.
Zero. I can't. I mean, I don't miss anything that they were doing.
Yeah.
I mean, am I wrong? Yeah. Am I wrong here?
No, you're not. I still wake up at 5
because it's like they're non-essential. Which here's a perfect example. During COVID, like like if you were an essential employee, you went to work, right? Charles,
Yep.
you and I went to work every day because we were
Every day.
essential, right?
Yep.
I mean, I think, these people have an opportunity to move from where being non-essential in their work to being essential employees in the private sector. This is a life opportunity for a lot of these folks that they should really, grab onto, huh?
The unrealized value.
Yeah,
Unrealized
exactly.
value, yeah. Undervalued, overvalued. I get it.
Ash, have we come unglued yet here for you or what?
No,
I mean,
no,
I was waiting for the landmine that I wasn't going to jump on, and then for Ash to be like, "Look, guys, let's go back."
no, it's all good. I mean, what's the thing that could come out of this is you get some kind of negotiated settlement, or where they basically put back in what's the name of where they put it back in and just the thing that kicks the can down the road, and they just push the
clean
budget.
resolution.
They just go back to the clean resolution. The biggest wild card out there is I'm waiting for like something to come out that just gets housing cranking, right, and gets things going.
Massey actually submitted an amendment to name the bill. We're going to kick the can down the road. Did you see that? He did. He proposed an amendment to change the name of the bill to "we're just going to kick the can down the road and deal with the problems later."
That's great. Did they vote on it?
They voted on it, and they obviously, right?
Yeah.
And I think they removed the ability to rename a bill because of that.
We had Westbury on. We had Westbury on a couple times this year. Where he's highlighted how big the government has gotten, and I mean, this is an historic opportunity to change. I mean, you think about it, is the bigger the government is, the smaller the private sector is. The government is inherently inefficient in what it does. This is an opportunity to peel that back and let's just have government do those things that are really essential that only government can do, and let the private sector do everything else.
Why do I mean, even the side that says they're going to do that, says they're going to do it, and still wants bigger government, like both sides. Like, why do I feel that way? Like,
because it's other people's money, and it's the easiest thing in the world to spend.
What do they say? You're smartest when you spend your money on yourself. You're less smart when you spend your money or somebody else's. Else.
You're the most. You spend the most attention and most money that you spend on yourself, you're the most judicious with, right?
And then there's spending your money on somebody else.
Your money on somebody else is then hey, that's how generous are you with what you have?
And then spending other people's money on other people, and that's where you just go hog wild.
Yeah, because it's hey, it's it's easy, right?
Keep a little
other people's money.
You keep a little for daddy, and
yeah.
and then go. So just back to lumber. Where, if we go through the different,
really, we're talking lumber again.
But if we go back to the different buckets,
I think everybody wants to tune in and listen to our political rants.
If we go back,
we're trying to broaden our audience appeal by not being so deep in the weeds on lumber, right? I mean,
how is lumber going to be affected by all of this? Like, what do we have? What could happen to make lumber go back to $1,000 a thousand?
I don't. COVID too. No, I mean, I don't think that $1,000 a thousand is the number. I think that Ash, you always say that lumber basically seeks the cost of production, right?
All commodities do. Even cars or anything that's a commodity like.
Quick aside on that is article today in the Journal about the gold rush is people are coming out of the woodwork figuring out where they can get more gold now that it's $4,000 an ounce. What's too
late, man. You're too late.
Timber Ghost says wear more hats. It'll broaden the appeal. Do you got another hat?
Well, people need to send us more hats. That's it. I mean, if people send us hats, we'll wear them and we'll rep for them, right?
Yeah.
That's the whole deal. I mean, if I only had a industrial forest products hat, do I have one? Hang on.
I've got my IFP sweatshirt that I wear around.
Yeah, it's probably one of the most comfortable hoodies you've ever put on.
It's very comfortable. And I just lost the tie in the dryer the other day.
It's a Hurley hat. You a surfer now? Is that a Hurley hat? What does that say?
Hawaii.
Oh,
So lumber's not going to beat 1,000, but I mean, are you looking next year at a 6 handle all year long on spruce lumber?
I think it's definitely a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as you have, a 50% tax on the Canadian production, that's gonna come into play on spruce. And we're back to this conversation that we've had a couple times, Charles, about how much of a premium can spruce carry to pine, and like we're in this thing. Ash, you and I got we're looking at contracts for next year.
You read my mind. I was thinking, what's going on with contracts for next year? Every time I talk about a contract, Greg goes, never. I'll fire you if you put a contract on with somebody.
but there's a lot of people that are looking at over the next 3 or 4 weeks are looking at 2026 contracts, and what are home centers going to do in terms of spruce versus pine versus U.S. West? What are they going to do? We've had this conversation. What are they going to do about studs, right? Euro. I mean, we know that the DCs are not going to load up on Southern pine studs. That's probably not going to happen, right?
I hope it doesn't.
So how's that? I mean, I think that U.S. West is going to be the biggest beneficiary of that. How is that going to play into the dynamics of the market? I think that's a big deal, and it's a big unknown how it will impact the market.
Well, if you want, one way you could have the market go to $1,000 a thousand is turn all your contracts off and make everybody buy on the spot market on a daily basis.
Well, market goes. Increase volatility, but I don't know that it would get your intended result though.
I don't think that some of the companies the 4 or 5 companies that buy 50% of the lumber spend in the United States would have enough human beings and capital and ability to buy that quickly. That's why they do it. So if you really want to,
also the Ash, I mean, the one thing is that the home centers don't want to impact the price if they can avoid it, right? Because to your point is like, hey, we need to buy this 3 months worth of lumber. That has a big impact on the price as opposed to taking 3 months worth of lumber over 3 months at the market price.
This is true, but then they do impact the price by artificially smoothing it out in a way that nobody sees a trade price. So it's like eating your own hand, right?
I mean, not having price transparency and having so much lumber move without price transparency. Actually, we saw it during COVID, how it made prices go so much higher than they would have otherwise gone because so much wood was taken away from the market that the price was set by a smaller sliver of product. And conversely, now you have it where guys canceling contracts put that extra wood into the market. Right.
Man, Greg, you just said everything that I wanted to say in my head, but my ADD would not let me put it into words.
So unpack it. What do you think about that?
Thank you.
What do you think about that, Charles?
I mean, it's true. I mean, let's use Southern Yellow Pine treaters for an example, right? I mean, if they and we'll just use artificial numbers. I don't know this to be fact. Let's say they have 50% on contract. Now all of a sudden they're back to 20. So that 30% of actual product is now in the market. Those mills are going to have to work harder to move that product, less order file. So the volatility is going to increase day to day, week to week, month to month. But I don't know that we would have the intended consequence of elevated pricing higher for longer because that actual material is still there. I mirror Greg's sentiment with that. I really do. And you're not, to to piggyback on Greg's other point, you're not going to have big DCs buying Southern Yellow Pine studs because it doesn't keep. It's just like if you sell to a DC or ship to a DC now, everything has to be paper wrapped because it may sit outside, but they turn that inventory a lot faster for a couple of reasons. Number one, the staying power. And number two, I lost my train of thought again. I had a really good point, but I can't remember it.
No, think about that for a second. But this makes sense. I mean, like Charles, your little side gig pig farm is trading cattle, right?
It is.
And I've got a bunch of buddies in the grain market. I want to get somebody on here that trades the grains. We have a contract, and the big packers, which are and some of you in the big retailers, which are the home centers or the mills in that particular case, how many of them have full out CME contracts, long and short and everything to lock their stuff in? And then they just take derivatives of that for the different items off of it, right? I mean, our industry could do that, where these big buyers could do futures plus and everybody would be locked in for the whole year. Or they could go to
that's
a mill.
not going to happen.
Or they go to a mill and say, what's your break even cost? Oh, we'll give you 10% above that on a firm price for the whole year on that item.
Yeah, we're not going to do that because we know we're going to get more for it than that.
Yeah, exactly. We'll give you 700. Not good. I don't think we want to do that because
I'll never forget when during COVID where I don't know, 9-foot studs were, $1,400 or $1,500. And I said, hey, would you sell me, 4 cars a month from now till the end of the year at $1,200? They said, nah.
That's crazy. I mean, Charles, would Pine guys do it for $100 over today's market for the year on certain things?
I don't know if a Pine buyer would do it.
Probably not. I mean, I understand why. I understand why would the wouldn't.
Well, I mean, you start looking very simple, right? 100% yield out of a log is a 16-foot material, whether it's 4, 6, 10, 12, 8, whatever. 16 foot. If you've got the ideal product of a 16-foot and you won't sell that forward when you are at $600 off the piggyback of a rumor of tariffs, so you won't sell it out for 60 days. And, 90 days later, you're selling it for, $390. Why would anybody from the buy side say, well, instead of being $365, I'll pay you $465?
Yeah. And the other thing is that you wouldn't do it unless you have it sold on the other side.
Well, I mean, even if you had it sold, I don't know that you have enough. There's enough juice there at $465 to head. There's nothing to hedge. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The risk is not, I mean, it's cheaper at $100 adder. It's cheaper for me to buy go put together 30 trucks or 15 or 20 trucks, 2 before 16, buy a block, stick it in a reload and ship it twice than it is for me to pay $100 premium.
Yeah. No, I see.
That's the battle you run into.
Earns and turns, right?
If I've got mills, I've got now 4 Southern Yellow Pine mills within 110 miles. It's cheaper for me to pick it up, stick it in Bishopville, charge myself material storage, right, at market rates than it is for me to pay and ship it back out to a job in Raleigh or Richmond or wherever, Parsippany, New Jersey, wherever it is, than it is for me to pay $100. I mean, that's the problem that we're running into with our forward book too. But we have guys that realize that it's not always going to be here, right? And then you got a capital cost, and then you got to manage that inventory. And you also have the variable of, okay, wherever that inventory is kept in that reload, what kind of shape is it in from point A to point B?
Yeah. Well, so you just made a good point, and you and I talked about forward business this morning, Charles. How much forward business is done out there right now and not locked in? Is there much?
Oh, there's quite a bit. Based on inquiry levels that we're getting,
yeah,
for Q1 and even November through April, based on the volume that we've sold and what's out there, it's quite a bit. But the thing is they can buy 1 or 2 trucks at a time. I mean,
and have been.
And a majority to that point, a majority of our cash wood is, hey, I need 3, but I need them by Friday. If you can get me 2 by Friday and 1 by next Tuesday, that's fine. And they pay the price because they sold it in March.
Yeah. Yep. No good point. What do you boys see for the rest of the week? I mean, are we going to see any offerings from mills, or there's going to be any movement, or the spruce mills don't have to do anything right now? Or are they going to sit around and wait? Because Greg, you always say if they don't sell anything, that's not going to help with price,
Yeah, I
right?
mean, the word I'm getting is that that guys are selling. The guys are selling, and when I had this conversation about about inventory, is we don't see any excess inventory in the pipeline at all at this point in time, and so I mean, like my big wild card is okay. So guys are buying based on current consumption. It's the middle of October. You're going to chew up wood good for another 5 or 6 weeks. Once you get to the end of November, you're going to start to have some weather impact and shorter days and blah blah blah. So the buying is going to move to more like, hey, buying for Q1 of next year.
Yeah.
So my best guess is we grind higher for another like week or 2 or 3 into early November, and then we hit an air pocket because it is like my caveat is, hey, do you get more announced curtailments that impact the market? But
Yeah.
we know that end use consumption is going to slow mid-late November through into the end of the year. And so how much appetite is there going to be to build inventory for the first quarter, balanced with how much actual curtailment there's going to be? Like I said, I mean, you look at these numbers, 50% on today's prices, there's the losses are substantive.
They're almost insurmountable, Greg. I mean, the
losses are substantive at Canadian mills. I mean, we haven't talked about Euro, but I mean, my general sense there is, the 10% is going to have an impact and slow that a little bit also.
Yeah. So are buyers being too tentative right now, too protective? What do they do? Is the market just is everybody doing everything just right? The market seems to be pretty efficient right now.
I mean, to Charles' point, I mean, there's a gobload of multifamily uncovered business, which is at some point
I agree with that.
Which at some point will be fuel.
But I don't think it'll all happen at once, though.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't.
You know what I mean? And I mean, you can have somebody lay off 100 trucks and nobody ever sees it again, right? They put it out to 4 guys, and 2 days later, 100 trucks out of the market. And then that guy in that region is going to have, if he's got 100 sold to one guy, he's probably got another 100 sold to somebody else. And at some point, they're going to plan for the future, and they're going to dictate how that market moves.
Can I ask a question? Who's the people that are short the multifamily right now? Because I know we're not, and we have been in the past, and have been asked to be in the last 3 months. And
I think Charles, I'll let Charles answer part of this. I think most of it is the developer haven't placed it with their preferred.
I agree with that.
Intermediary.
So it's sitting in a.
It's not the intermediate area.
It's sitting in a budget number right now and getting ready for the project to go. And it's an agreement, and where they say, hey, we've got $2 million we can put toward lumber panel spend, and let's go. Oh, by the way, that costs 2.9 now. Well, how did that happen? It's guys that don't watch the lumber side of things, right? Or don't watch the lumber word. So if you're a jobber right now, or and you haven't covered anything, this isn't advice, but you may want to check what you've got your business sold at for Q1, because it's going to be a lot higher than it is today. We think, again, not advice.
Yeah, consult your financial professional for something that's appropriate for you. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Whatever happens, you ever consult a financial advisor? It's like, it's a huge waste of time, in my opinion, right?
Like, hey, 80% of investment professionals underperform based on the index that they're supposedly being measured by.
My financial advisor is.
There's an 80% failure rate.
No, they just don't beat. They don't beat.
Well, no, that's from my daughter, who worked with financial managers. She goes, God, I can't believe these people manage other people's money. It's crazy.
Yeah, because my financial advisor is in the office next to me. His name's Greg Riley. I say, hey, what stocks or indexes should I put this in? And he writes it down on a Post-it note and hands it to me. And
And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Or then Ashley comes in and goes, "Hey, so I bought these wild ass, like
Crypto.
long dated calls on blah
Those are
blah
called
blah
those are
blah
called
blah."
leads.
And
Those are called
and
leads.
it's like up, like it's up huge. I'm going, sell it, get rid of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I did, and then I
All
bought
of mine
back
is
in.
self-directed.
Yeah.
All of mine is self-directed.
Well, all right. Well, cool, guys. Anything you want to, Charles, tell us a little bit real quick about your business, 2x6 and 2x4 9-footers. Where are you going to with those? Where are you moving? Where are they moving around the country right now?
Surprisingly, we've had a lot of inquiry in the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. We're moving into, I don't know what you call Minnesota and Wisconsin. What is
Okay.
that?
Midwest.
That's the Midwest?
Yeah. Upper Midwest.
Upper
Midwest.
Is that the upper Midwest?
Yeah.
See?
Minnesota, Wisconsin. Yes, definitely.
Oh, Minnesota, Wisconsin is the upper Midwest. And then the Great Lakes region is Ohio, Michigan, and those areas. Is Illinois considered a Great Lakes region, I guess? It would be. I don't know. Charles, OSB, what's that doing? Since that's a big spend.
I mean, it's I mean, there's liquidity, but there's no appreciation. I mean, it's a very difficult item to trade.
Did that get 10% put on it also from Canada? The Canadian OSB?
I don't think so.
I didn't. It wasn't specifically named that I know of.
No. Actually, I do remember. I do remember some. I think it was Mead. Alex sent an email and spelled it out and said, "Hey, this is where that gray area was that Greg read, or you sent that email.
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah.
And that was pertaining to OSB, to where OSB is not considered in the 232, but it's all dimensional lumber."
That reminds me, I owe Alex a call for Kansas City. I forgot to call him back.
I did that on purpose because he said it 3 times to me in the past 2 days. And then I called you yesterday and you never called me back. So I've been
really bad about getting back.
Charles, tell us about what do we need to know about the cattle market right now? I mean, that's I'm trying to book a steak place in Kansas City, and so what do I need to know?
Well, I mean, I don't think there's anything you can do about that because that's already in the supply chain.
What's the
the risk level is unheard of. I actually had dinner with a very successful backgrounder. He keeps about 1,500.
Well, first of all, what's a backgrounder? Since none of us know that. That sounds like somebody you borrow money from at 30%.
That's a loan shark, Ash.
Yeah.
Aren't you one of those? Didn't you tell me a story this morning where you play that role?
No. He doesn't get the 30%. He loans it. He doesn't get the 30%.
I do the Christian way.
Oh, okay.
It's not good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let me know how that works out. But and so a backgrounder is basically somebody that buys calves, lightweight calves, anywhere from 300, 400, 500 pounds, brings them to 800 to 900 pounds, straightens them out, vaccinates them, make sure they don't get sick, and then they sell them a step up the supply chain. Similar to what we do, he just does it at a larger scale.
Who's the guy that gets them from 0 to 300, 400, 500 pounds?
Usually that's a calf straight off the cow, right? So whoever's cow calf, they're going to keep them to 300 to 600 pounds. I got a buddy of mine that he runs about 70 head of cows, and he pulls his calves off at 5 to 650, and then they enter the marketplace. And right now we're supposed to be in a fall calf run. And usually balling calves.
So those are the ones those are feeders, right? That's what you call them.
You have a calf. Yeah, exactly. It falls under the feeder contract, 100%. Yeah. So you have a calf that's under 600, 650 pounds, and a yearling's 7 and above.
And then full weight's what, 1,200, 1,500?
Heifer's about 1,350 to 1,450, depending on frame size, and a steer's going to go all the way up to 1,550.
And then
now, all of your stuff is all organic, free range, right?
It's like my buddies always say, Ash, we feed them grass for 80% of the time, and then we run grain through them.
Well, and see, that's the thing. Anytime you ever see a label that says antibiotic-free beef, it's not true. Unless there's a time, and I don't know how the labeling goes through the federal government because I try not to understand that stuff, but it might be a period before slaughter, which no vaccines, no antibiotics want to be given 30 to 45 days prior to slaughter. So it might be antibiotic free for 60, maybe 75, right? Maybe 90, I don't know. But any steak that you eat that's going to taste good is grain finished, Ash, to your point.
Yeah, I mean, so the cattle inventory.
This is how we expand to a wider audience.
So
Ash.
but the cattle inventory
this out to the.
Is that a 1950 area low for the cattle inventory, right?
Yeah.
And is that per head or per weight? Because cattle back in the
50s. That's head count. That is
so cattle, but that cattle back in the 50s weighed a lot less. So if it's head count, then it's significantly per poundage wise down tremendously, right? And that's why you have these prices.
Well, I think you said that backwards. So you're getting a heavier on the hoof finished animal now by about 25.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. I did say it backwards. That's the second time I've done that today.
That impact on head count is still relatively large, right? I mean, because our population has grown how much since 1950?
Yeah.
So that's another piece to it.
Right. 12 million it's grown in the last 2 years. We know that.
All right, hey, listen, guys, this was great. We're sorry we missed Matt. I think it was too early for Matt.
Or we may have gotten confused on the time frame, but that works.
No, he
works
doesn't.
out okay.
I don't think he may not get up this early. I don't know.
All right, well, cool. We'll get it out on the podcast tonight, and then we'll get it going next week. Are you in next week, Greg?
No, I'm out next week. I got a big meeting with Mr. Green down at in North Carolina.
Oh, you're gonna be by Charles. You're gonna go stop by and say hi to Charles if you're in North Carolina.
Never does.
Charles. That's not by Charles. That's like I mean, no. So you guys will.
All right, boys. Well,
but
I appreciate
I need to get down by Charles. You're right.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what?
Y'all are welcome anytime.
No.
All right, guys.
You just finished the barn too, so you got plenty of place to stay. It's nice. Just saying.
Thanks, Charles. You got a man barn or man cave barn?
No, we just finished the hayloft and turned it into an apartment, quasi office. So that way I don't have to come to Bishopville every day.
It's kind of like that movie with Patrick Swayze back in the day where he lived in that
way before my time.
Yeah, he lived in the barn. All right. Sounds good, guys.
All right, guys.